Big Boy's
Big
Neighborhood.
Boy.
All righty, welcome to After the Show, September 5th, 2018. And if anybody see Natalia's for her left eye, if that happens, she dropped a phone on her face. Yeah, figure that out. What were you doing? What were you doing? Taking selfies on the floor?
I was trying to film a video on Snapchat about how I was laying down.
Well, you were laying down.
And then it fell.
It was so loud when it fell on her. Like I turned around and she's like, "Ow!" I knew exactly what happened.
I was out getting me breakfast, a little burrito. And,
It happens when you go away.
Yeah, man. I'm glad it happened when I go away. I don't want that done on my watch. And Louis, we were talking about Louis last week. When he was saying how he dropped it and y'all were going in on him.
Yeah, what? You lay down on your bed and take selfies or get on your phone?
Because you do.
And
That's
you're
how
a
it
guy.
happened to Natalia.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to do it because I'm a girl.
Yeah.
What? What do you mean?
It's a double standard.
What? Guys
What do you mean?
do it. Guys can do it too.
You can, but
Guys
should
can
you?
lay in the bed and take selfies
With filters?
Okay,
should
maybe.
you? That's the question.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds like if you
Just
I mean,
because
when
you
you put it that
can doesn't mean you
I
should.
guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can go in Veronica's
All right,
closet
yeah.
today and put on her underwear again. Again, you know what I'm saying? No, but
right.
thank you guys for hanging out with us
thank
after
you
the
guys.
show, man. And on the show today, we were also talking about Kanye West. He issued an apology via Twitter to Drake. You know what I'm saying? And people were calling up like, is that the way to do it? Why on Twitter? And I think it was you that said, why not just pick up the phone?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why do we have to do everything over social media these days? Like, if you really mean it and you really are sorry and you really are trying to reach out for Drake, like, you have his phone number.
Right.
Call him up. Be a man. Like, apologize.
And we were talking about, we had callers that hit us up and they were like, yeah, that's how Kanye does a lot. He does a lot on Twitter, which I can understand. He does a lot on Twitter, but usually it's his opinions and this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But for a personal apology,
Yes.
you would think like, oh, okay, man, just go ahead and call me up.
It just seems like he's up to something else. Like, it just doesn't seem authentic or
What
genuine to me.
What if he did already apologize to Drake over the phone and then put this out as well? So like we don't know what happens.
Yeah, but knowing Kanye too, or
Probably
just
not.
the isms, he probably would have did spoke to Drake.
Oh, true. Yeah,
And
you're right about
you know
that.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right.
I
that's
don't
a
know.
good point.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I can try to call him, see if he pick up.
Yeah.
You there? No? Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. I tried. And also, man, it seems like the news, everything just getting so serious right
man,
now.
you're right.
Yes.
Like,
You mentioned that earlier right now. It's like, dude, there's nothing like
yeah,
laugh
Colin
about, talk
Kaepernick, the
about,
Nike,
like,
hillbillies burning their Nikes on their feet. And you know what? I understand if you're not with Colin Kaepernick, understood.
Yeah.
But my thing is also, man, if you're going to tear the shoes up, again, I say donate the shoes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Donate the shoes if you're going to tear them up or you're not with them anymore.
Yeah.
Bless somebody else. I see people cutting up their socks and everything, man. And they were saying that in the homeless population, man, is that the one thing that people usually ask for is socks.
That definitely
socks,
is.
shoes. Like, you do have a soul, and you see how blessed when you bless somebody with shoes, you see that day.
And even when I take them shoes, they'll always ask, because like I'll like do it out of my trunk. They'll look in my trunk. They'll ask me, "Do you have blankets? Do you have socks?" They always ask for socks.
Yeah,
so like
man.
it's really needed, and for people to be just tearing this up because you're
Idiots.
mad, like. Okay, be mad. If you want to get rid of it, get rid of it. That's fine. You
Yeah.
don't have to roll with it, but do something, positive
And
with it.
I understand that they're your shoes. You paid
do
for
whatever
them,
you want. Yeah.
and you're doing this out of protest. But also, I think you can, if you're mad about what's going on, then I think you should bless someone too.
Yeah.
If you're going to just tear them up, and especially
And Nikes
burn
are
your feet up.
expensive, man.
I can't, man, I was really hoping that the one that I saw where the dude set his shoes on fire while he was wearing them.
Yeah.
I was hoping that was fake.
No, it's real because
it's
there's an
real.
after picture of his
Yeah.
feet actually burned up in a
Yeah,
hospital.
man. Like,
what an idiot.
I would have not even taken that second picture. I would have been limping
man.
around here. Y'all would have been like, "B, you good?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Yeah.
Nah, yeah. What did you hear? Like, we heard. No, man. Those are rumors, man. Those are rumors.
There's some funny memes that said the only shoes that are going to be burnt are these Nikes, and it's like the like dad Nike shoes.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. It's like the older grandpa.
Yeah, there's been some great memes going out. Some great memes, man. You seen the one with the Adidas one where slavery was a choice with
Kanye.
With Kanye.
Oh, wow, no.
And then the black and white of Trump, and it says grab it by the you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a lot out there, man. Everything is getting so political right now.
I just don't understand
and
why,
the
like,
hatred too.
Like you say it a lot of the times, like sometimes you're trying to rationalize for the irrational and you just can't. But I get so baffled sometimes where people make the connection too. People made the connection thinking that Colin Kaepernick was kneeling because he hated veterans or the military, that it was that. People are associating Nike with, the most patriotic. Like, Nike is a sports brand. This is what they do. This is what they've always done. If you want something that represents America, I'm sure there's another brand out there that can represent that. It's just, and then the fact that Trump is involved with the NFL at all is just like, you're the president. You should be running our country, not the football field. Stay I don't want to say, stay out of it. He's allowed his opinion, but the way he forces his opinion, it's as if it's...
And if we're supposed to just shut up and play phone taps and shut up and do the mix, shut up and dribble the ball, then he's supposed to just shut up and preside.
Yes.
If that's what we're all doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got Twitter fingers, man. Like, good. I would love to see at the end of the year what his Twitter posts are, like his count.
Yes.
It's got to be ridiculous.
Oh
even like you said in the history books, like there's going to be like Twitter quotes in history books.
That's so crazy to think about the history books. Like what, I guess our kids will be reading in their history books as commercials. Like
what do you put in the history books now?
Man.
So many things are
screenshots of everything, screenshots of tweets.
Yeah, so many things are historic now.
Wowzers.
Here today, gone tomorrow.
That's
so I'm glad I'm out, man. No, I mean, I'm glad I'm out because I didn't want to go to school anymore.
Imagine teachers are gonna be like, "We're gonna skip chapter 15." That's the Trump era.
I just don't approve of it.
I'm just so in disbelief. Like, speaking of history books, I remember, I honestly hated my history classes because it was just so boring to me. But I never thought that I would be sitting here talking about all the things that I'm actually seeing with my own eyes. You read about it, and I definitely don't think that it's gotten as bad, but some of the things that are happening, I'm like, how is this really happening right now? It's 2018. How do we have a president like this in office? How do we get here?
Slavery and Jim Crow laws and segregation and even apartheid
racism
and everything. It's crazy that we're back to this. And I'm telling you, man, I don't think it would be this much tension in the world if anyone but Donald Trump won.
Right.
If anyone but Donald Trump.
I saw a really great post this morning because it was I believe
Well,
it might have been from.
share it with us.
It might have been from yesterday. Sometimes that algorithm is messed up, but it was talking about the anniversary of when they integrated schools in Alabama. Was it Alabama or Arkansas? Where the 15-year-old girl, I believe her name might have been Erica, walking into the school, and there's the white students behind her. She was one of the first African-American students to get integrated into the school, and Eisenhower had to basically send in forces so that they would let the kids into the school. Well, there were, white students behind them, and one is screaming with anger at this student who's trying to just get into the school. I think her name was Hazel, or it might be flipped. But I believe the names are Erica and Hazel. And I was wondering, where is that woman now? That young girl who was in high school with this same girl, what did her life turn into?
Right.
Did she continue that hatred that she was screaming
Possibly
at?
so. Probably
Actually,
if she's still here to
she
her grave,
didn't.
she didn't.
Apparently, there was a whole documentary on it that they found out that she then became friends with the girl and then went on to work with activism and socialism.
I love it.
Then she started to help young women who were unwed but pregnant, just get more education. And there was a bunch of things that she actually turned a leaf.
That's
I thought
beautiful.
I was like, you know what? There is hope.
When my mom was going to school, when they integrated to schools, she would, they were taken in, and it would literally be people, parents, and everything. This is just the world that my mom grew up in. And excuse me, it was down south, but they would do they would chant 2, 4, 6, 8. We don't want to integrate. N-word, go home.
That's so
2,
horrible.
4, 6, 8. We don't want to integrate. N-word, go home. At these children that were coming into the school.
Yeah.
That's
You know what I'm
awful.
saying? So that's the cloth that I'm cut from. Not that I'm bitter, but I know my history.
Yeah.
You know,
You
and
know
I
someone who went
know
through it.
your history, and I know his story, and I know when I sit down, that's why I don't embrace the N-word and taking the power out of it, and it's ours now, and we trying to rewrite history on something that shouldn't be rewritten. You know what I'm saying? There is a lot of hatred that came with that, and there is no term of endearment for the word nigga. There is no.
Not at
I don't
all.
care what you say. That's
How you
that's
say
my
it.
end. That's my end. That's my end. And to some people, we get people that come in and they say it. I just don't say it.
Yeah.
And I don't want anyone to refer to me as that. And I understand that the love. I got one of my homies in New York, and he, when he say it all big money, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? But there is a place where I trip off of people saying the word means nothing anymore. That's just like if you fought for something for so long and then your kids came or people after you and said, "Oh, I don't care about that." You know what I'm saying? Like Google people getting their stomachs eaten out by dogs, getting hit with water hose. You think a water hose in your front yard? You're like, oh yeah. Think about getting hit with an industrial fireman fire hose. They said that would tear the skin off your back.
So
And we're not
horrible.
far removed from that history.
No.
And now when you look at things now, it's just in color. When you see people walking with tiki torches and marching through the street, tiki torches are just better ways to not walk around with a burning cross. You know what I'm saying? So, or, going and dipping everything in gasoline and walking with that. When you see it now, it's just in color. It's the same thing. And now, this new Ku Klux Klan or this new, some of them are wearing suits. Some of them are your boss. But it's just, we're seeing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's scary.
We've seen presidents that set up, the Black Panther Party and, so we've seen this. It's just that now, modern day, we get a chance to call you on it without our doors being kicked in and being taken out of our houses and beaten and everything.
For real.
So scary. And
Hell yeah.
Even when that whole thing was going on with that New York lawyer, I believe, that was mad because I believe the employers were speaking Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just going to all of that, I have friends, like their parents couldn't speak Spanish in school. Like they were punished for speaking Spanish in their school. And so just kind of fast forward to today when people really have an issue saying like, oh, you should only speak English in America. Like I think that's like the biggest bunch of nonsense I've ever heard.
But you know what?
Because we're so
man.
diverse.
I walk into a nail shop
diverse.
and these people walk into a nail shop and I don't know. I don't hear people saying speak English in the nail shop.
No, definitely not.
You know what I'm saying? If you're somewhere else, like my buddy Kaz, I was talking to my guy Jose yesterday. And Kaz, he's trying to work on his visa work right here. And I'm like, man, I said, that's crazy that they're not really after you with you being from Japan, but they would be on somebody else hardcore right now if they didn't have their paperwork
From
in
Mexico.
order. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you see what I'm getting at. But, I mean, it's a sign of the time. And I say we got to continue to speak out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if we don't, our voices, I mean, how do I know that something's going on if I don't hear you yell out?
Yeah.
So we got to continue to yell out.
And I think it was yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of the whole DACA thing that got put in place, where
Yes.
Donald Trump presented it and wanted to take it away, and it's been a whole year. And even it was crazy because I was going on Twitter and I was seeing some girl who tweeted out and said, "Hey, if anybody can help me out, I need to pay for my application, which is like $495 just for them to actually renew." And right now they're actually renewing; they're still renewing their permits, which is
They
crazy
just
to me.
passed it, but
And
they're gonna
some
allow
people
it to
can't even
continue.
afford to pay that to renew it, but to everybody out there, like you can still do it. So don't be scared. And it's crazy just reading stories how people are like, I don't know what's going to happen next month. I can't really make plans for next year. Like,
Yeah,
that
man.
that sucks. Like, how do you like? A long time ago, I learned how don't live in fear. And to be honest with you, I think Jason instilled that in me a long time ago. It's like, bro, why you live in fear? Like, don't do that. And to this day, it's like, dude, it's like coming back for a lot of people. Like,
Yeah, it is.
that
And
sucks
it's a
that
real
people have
fear.
to live like that.
And it's a fear of how long you've been okay.
Yeah.
And then the realization of like, wow.
In 1 second,
Like this is
something can change.
really going down, man.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, if we don't watch all these midterms or what's going on, whoever you with, even in your Senate, government, whatever, you gotta watch.
Right.
The legislations that's going down. Even here, people didn't know that now, and in California, about to have water regulations where you can only spend
lot of 'em.
55 gallons per person, and
I'm gonna have
takes,
problems.
It takes 40 gallons to wash a load of clothes.
Yeah.
But we didn't see certain things on our ballots.
Right, because
You know what I'm saying? Because
to the local
and then my thing is this,
elections.
man. I don't know when was the last one-term president. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's true. We've been back to back.
Yeah, I think is it one of the Bush? Did Bush did Pops go twice?
I know Bush
I agree.
Jr. Went 2 terms. I'm not sure if.
Yeah, I think
Let's
check and see when
my
was the
internet
last one.
went down.
I think it was HW that went one term.
Yeah, we haven't had
and
a-
lost. And I thought it may be even before that. So man, if
George Bush.
George HW.
Yeah.
So Pops.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so if we don't get out and really say if we don't want the way that this legislation and who's in office, if we don't get out and make a difference, then you will see a 2-term because a lot of presidents are 2-term presidents, man. So and trust me, whoever loves Donald Trump, they are going to get out and vote. And
They
already we
are.
done let so many things get by with the Supreme Court nominations and laws being taken away and things that's just been erased already. So we got to pay attention, man, because if not, somebody else will pay it for us. All righty. Well, thank y'all for hanging out with us after the show, man.
Light my
Enjoy the rest
candle.
of your day. All things RadioBigBoy.com. You'll find all things for Big Boy's Neighborhood right there. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your life. We are gone.